Draymond Green wants a new max contract, but reports say the Warriors have no plans to give it to him. What does that mean for Draymond's future? I mean, we've all thought, hey, if one of the core players is gonna leave the team, it'll probably be Draymond. But he just won another title, played like a defensive player of the year. Isn't he worth it? Well, the gravy train is ending. The Athletic asked owner Joe Lacob if he would pay the $400+ million to keep everyone together. He said those numbers aren't even remotely possible. So somebody is either taking a pay cut or leaving. And it's not just Draymond to worry about. The Warriors have huge decisions on Draymond, Andrew Wiggins, Jordan Poole, Klay Thompson, and eventually James Wiseman. If they all got paid near their max, it looks like this. Wiggins stays at $33 million, Poole about $27 million, Draymond's max is almost $31, and Klay is already getting about $43. The total bill, $564 million. The owner won't even pay $400 million. This is really bad for Golden State if they want to be the next Spurs dynasty. San Antonio won 5 chips over 15 years because the best players took pay cuts. In 2010, Tony Parker was one of the best guards in the league, won a finals MVP 2 seasons before, could have signed for $60 million, but took $50 million instead and didn't even look at other offers. 3 years later, Manu Ginobili signed for $14.5 million over 2 years. That was $1 million less than Kendrick Perkins. But Tim Duncan took the biggest hit as the franchise player. He stopped getting the max in his prime in 2007. He renegotiated his deal after a 4th chip for 2 years, $49 million. His max was over $76 million. Pay cuts like that were key to the Spurs dynasty. So which Warrior will have to take a pay cut or leave if they don't get paid? The good news is almost every Dubs vet has already taken a discount before. Steph's was at the beginning of his career, but why is Draymond asking for the max now? Maybe he's just negotiating with the team in public, but a report said that he would be willing to look elsewhere to get paid. Well, the only teams with realistic projected cap space next year are the Rockets, the Spurs, the Pistons, the Pacers, the Magic, the Thunder, and the Jazz. Forget the Lakers because they'll probably spend theirs when they trade Russ, but those other teams aren't offering Draymond the max. He's not on their timeline. Plus, a max player kind of is valuable on offense too. Maybe when Draymond was 26 years old he was worth it, but not now. He is worth way more to the Warriors. The only teams that might consider it are like the Bucks or the Heat or the Raptors, but they don't have money. And Golden State knows all this, so they're not gonna bid against themselves. Some people think that Draymond is the most likely to leave, but I think one of their other players is an even bigger risk. I rank Draymond as 8 of 10 to take a pay cut and just 3 of 10 to leave the team. But Andrew Wiggins is a different story. He is a free agent after this season, and a ton of teams will go after him. He would fit on any contender. He's a two-way wing coming off an all-star season. He defended Luka Doncic and Jason Tatum on his way to a title. The concern with Wiggins has always been, is he that talented on a winning team after being on a loser in Minnesota? But now he is entering his prime as the 2nd best player on a championship team. If anyone deserves to get the max, it's Wiggins. The problem is they can't afford it. Would Wiggins actually leave for more money when another team offers it? I mean, he already knows what it's like to get paid on a losing team. It's miserable. So maybe he will take a pay cut of his max, $40.3 million, to something like his current salary, $33 million. So I put Wiggins at 7 of 10 to take a discount, super likely, and just 5 of 10 to leave because a lot of teams will be interested. Next up is Jordan Poole, and at one point, everyone thought he would get the max. In the final 21 games of last year, he was a starter, averaged almost 25 points on 47% shooting and 42% from deep. He led the NBA in free throw percentage for the entire season. He was a beast in the first round of the playoffs, and then he fell off. After round 1, Poole played like a role player. With shaky defense, by the way. The Dubs can't pay big money for that. But maybe he would fit better on his own team. Remember, he put up those like historic numbers while he was a starter. Teams with cap space could make a huge offer for Jordan Poole because he is on their timeline and they know he'll be good in the postseason. I know Warrior fans don't think he would ever leave because fans love their own players so much they're totally blind to it, but Poole hadn't even gotten his first big payday. We just saw this with Jalen Brunson. He took a little less money to get his first big payday on a worse team because also they would give him a bigger role. The Warriors will ask Jordan Poole to take a discount, but that is dangerous. The good news is he's a restricted free agent. That means if no extension gets done this offseason, Golden State has the right to match any offer next offseason. If, though, another team does offer him the max, like the Pacers did with DeAndre Ayton, the Dubs are in big trouble. They either pay the max or lose him. So I put Poole at 6 of 10 to take a discount, but 6 of 10 also to leave the team. Klay Thompson is also up for an extension, but he's got 2 guaranteed years left on his max deal that he signed in 2019, so there's no urgency to get it done now. And honestly, I think Klay is probably the most likely guy to take less money. Dude was collecting $680,000 a week when he was just rehabbing his knee. The team already showed him loyalty, signing him to a max after he tore his ACL. And Klay loves being a Warrior, playing with Steph and Steve Kerr. There's no way he plays hardball with them. But he is in the same position as Draymond because I don't think any other team would offer Klay the max in the open market. He's got too much to prove after 2 major injuries and at 32 years old. I think Klay and Steph are the only 2 guaranteed to end their careers in the Bay. Klay is a 9 of 10 to take a discount and just a 2 of 10 to leave the team. I think Draymond and Klay should take the pay cuts, but Jordan Poole and Andrew Wiggins should not have to compromise here. But there is one other option for this front office if they want to get real crazy. They could go into next season and extend no one. The roster is happy having just won a chip, but these are humans. They have emotions. Draymond, Poole, and Wiggins could feel disrespected if the front office doesn't pay up. The second they have a losing streak during the year, things could get spicy, especially with Draymond giving us weekly updates on how he feels on his podcast. The positive thing about going this route is, having really motivated players that want to get paid, and this also lets them gather more information on the young guys like Wiseman and Kuminga and Moses Moody to see if letting go of like a Draymond is actually worth it. But if something does go down like that and someone important eventually does leave, I don't want to hear anybody blaming the owner, Joe Lacob. I know we're not crying here over a billionaire losing money, but this man has already paid the tax multiple years and just spent the highest payroll of all time this season. He has already taken one for the team. Remember that Spurs dynasty? Yeah, they only paid over $1 million in tax one season, the entire era. Now, the NBA's TV deal will push the cap way up in 2026, but that would still leave a huge bill to pay in between now and when the salary cap spikes. If the Dubs want to be the greatest dynasty of all time, greater than the Spurs, maybe even greater than the Bulls, somebody is gonna have to take a discount, and it should be Draymond Green and Klay Thompson. But these extensions could create awkward situations all around the league. Like right now, LeBron James still hasn't signed his extension to stay with the Lakers. But a big part of that is his desire to play with Bronny James, and maybe the Lakers could eventually sign Bronny, but that might be impossible. And I made an entire video about it right here.